What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Scale News Update. If you're not familiar with the show, this is where we talk about the news topics that happened in the scale world of RC over the past week. If you enjoy the Scale News Update, hit the like button. Let's jump into this week's episode. First for this week, the Artful Dodgers released an F10 Axial servo on axle mount. This is a welded servo mount, unlike the more common 3D printed one. So this one made out of multiple pieces of steel welded together. This relocates your axle from in the chassis onto the axle, most likely used in a custom build. And it also gives you a position for the upper fourth link that you normally need when going to a chassis or an axle mounted servo. Usually you have to go from a 3-link with panhard to a 4-link. So nice looking piece there. Nice to see some non 3D printed options as well, usually a little bit stronger. Check them out. I'll put a link to their product in the description below, as well as links to all of today's topics. Last week, Associated released these two new short wheelbase trucks, kind of. Not really like a short course truck, not really a buggy, but kind of an in-between. Shorter wheelbase, but longer or wider track width, more like a short course, but again, a little bit shorter overall. Two body options. One is the Pro 2 with a kind of a truck looking body, a little bit weird looking in proportions wise. I can't exactly pinpoint what the inspiration truck was that it started as. And then there's also like an SUV style, and that one is even a little bit more interesting looking. It's got some big fender flares up front, but a huge cutout behind the fender flares, which leaves this kind of crazy overhang over top of the tires, but nothing behind it. Overall, just an interesting placement in the market. Maybe just a reusing of some products or options that they have available that they want to get out in a new way. These do use a new 2.2 tire. It's just 2.2 inner, 2.2 outer, unlike the 3.0 2.2. So it is kind of cool to see that, although that's kind of like stadium truck style, but I'm not sure how close to that size and width that these tires are in comparison. Not 100% sure what the idea was behind this product placement in the market or what niche or hole they were trying to fill. But if you're looking for these, price is pretty standard in a little over that $300 range with brushless system. That is nice. Brushless RTR for just around $300 or a little bit over. Of course, you can get the full battery LiPo combo for a little over $400 also. So check those out. I put links to both of the truck options in the description below. And speaking of Team Associated, Element, one of their other brands, put up a post this last week talking about what looks like it could be an updated version of the IFS kit that they had and was under the Trail Runner before as well. And maybe the Night Runner. Those two, I think, came with the IFS, and you could also have bought it separately before, but that's been discontinued for some time, at least the separately purchasable kit. The IFS from Element originally, not a great setup. It was kind of flawed in a number of ways as far as geometry and clearance, but hopefully if they're re-releasing a version 2, they've addressed a number of those things and maybe increased some clearances, made steering better, and the actual geometry of all the parts a little bit more appropriate. So looking forward to what we could see released alongside of that, if they're going to put it under a new truck or they're going to update some of the older trucks or just give us that new V2 kit. So hold your breath on that. Maybe we'll see that here shortly. And speaking of bad ideas, Beeftubes released some AR44 leaf spring plates or perches, beef plates as they're technically called on the product page, but these are a standard leaf mount, but you will need to purchase the 3-piece style AR44 axles for these to work. A lot of the AR44 axles came as a 1-piece where the C-hubs are molded into the center axle housing. You will need the style that had the separate link mounts and separate C-hubs, and then if you've got that, you will be able to mount up these AR44 leaf mounts. So there's many reasons to make a leaf spring truck. I know, just like making fun of them because they're ancient technology. Thank you to Old Time RC for sponsoring this month of the Scale News Update. Old Time RC is putting up some custom SCX 24s modeled after the budget build Betty that I did in the budget build series over a year ago. I had designed a custom chassis in that series and put it out there for free. They have replicated that in carbon fiber, as well as 3D printed the braces and the bumpers, all of the things that make that chassis complete. They've paired that with a number of upgrades, like some nice Proline shocks. It's got a good transmission in there. You can get a number of power system options as well, also including a Betty body. So they're laser etching the frame rails also. Go check those out. Starting these at $299, and they're doing a very small number of them. If you're interested in looking at one of those, go check out the webpage. See all the details on that unit. And thanks again to Old Time RC for sponsoring this month of the Scale News Update. Last week, Vanquish Products released the low offset brass portal covers for the F10 axles. These brass covers are made to add some weight to your portal knuckles, but not interfere with the lowest offset wheels that you can fit over those knuckles. These just get all the material off the front, allow you to be able to press that all the way in. But again, you don't get quite as much weight as the standard F10 brass portal knuckle covers. So something to think about, but if you've got a competition style setting where you're trying to keep things as narrow as possible, but you want a little bit of non-rotating weight, these are a great option. You can go check those out. They're available now on the Vanquish website. Last week, DSM Off-Road released a carbon fiber flatbed for the SCX Pro. The SCX Pro has obviously been a popular option over the last couple of months, being widely available in that comp style. Now, all of the comp options you used to see on the little boutique manufacturers' chassis can be made for the mass available, easiest to put together option that there is so far. So DSM came up with this nice carbon, fits between the rails and just cleans things up if you want to run a cab only style option. DSM Off-Road also has a number of other SCX Pro parts. Go check out those parts while you're shopping for this one. Speaking of the SCX Pro, RC Rock Pirates has released their own version of the SCX Pro chassis. It's got a handful of modified geometry areas, as well as the option for some custom laser engraving. Also, if you want something that's, a little bit different than just your standard anodized aluminum chassis. The geometry compared to the stock SCX Pro chassis doesn't look like it's been massively modified, just a few tweaks here and there and incorporating some of the things that you see most commonly on their other chassis. This one may be a little less specific to our normal needs, but I ran across this on A-Main this week, and this is a Webster Mods fluid drainage tray. And it's available in a number of colors, depending on what else you have on your pit table, I guess. But I assume that this is just to be able to have a place to empty your dirty shock oil in and diff fluid, things like that, while you're racing possibly, and managing these things in a pit space where you don't have access to a paper towel or something along those lines that's easily disposable. I'm not 100% sure. I saw this and thought, I guess it could be useful. I get the purpose, but at some point you still have to clean it up. So, maybe a little less shame than other things, but I don't know. Is this a racing thing that I just never ran across before? Or there are lots of options for fluid drainage trays that I just was completely unaware of? I don't know. Have you seen, is there other things in racing that I just have never seen in this area that I'm completely lost to? Be interested to see that. This Wednesday will be the final Road to the Rockies video from Matt. Matt's going to put up his video the day before we leave for the event. At that time, you'll get to see his completed vehicles, of course, and the livery that he's chosen for the Porsche. Mine, I'll show you once we get to Colorado. And it'll all make sense, maybe, or maybe not. Go check out his video Wednesday morning. I'll probably still be working to try and finish mine. And Wednesday night, we'll still be doing our live stream takeover. Only hours before, we'll need to be boarding planes to get on the road to the event. We're still gonna do the live stream. I hope that I'm done by that point. I really, really do. And once we're there, since I skipped one last week, I hope that we can knock out a Friday night live from the location there in the Fort Collins area. We've got a nice Airbnb. Should be a good time to do another live stream. Hopefully you guys can join us on Wednesday night or Friday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Come check it out. Hopefully everything goes smoothly and we're nice and relaxed. Last week, in celebration of the 5th anniversary of the Scale News Update, I asked you guys how many of the episodes you think you've seen. Of course, there was a lot of people who remembered some of the old videos in the basement when I was in Missouri. And then, some of you who got into the hobby during 2020 when everyone was looking for something to do. But it was good to see the huge mix, and I appreciate everyone for watching all of those videos. We're 261 now, on our way to 10 years. We'll see. But for this week's question, I wanted to ask you, have you made friends specifically through RC? People that RC is the only way that you were introduced to them and you became good friends. I had a garage full of friends today that RC was the reason that happened. So be interested to hear if you guys are there. And also, have I met you? Have we met? I'd be interested to see how many people who watch this I've actually met at an event or anywhere. Drop a comment below. My favorite part of the Scale News Update. Again, thank you for watching all of these episodes. However long we're in here, it's been a good one. But with that, thanks again for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're not already. Hit the notification bell so you see the videos as soon as they get uploaded. With that, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.